Y'all were ready for already out there. Lot of mercy. Oh my God. What's up, what's up, what's up? Let's go live on TikTok too. Let's not forget them. Okay, I'll do that later. But dear. Okay, I don't know what's happening with my TikTok right now. But I don't plan on doing that right now. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go live. How y'all doing? What's up? Chachiriwo. How you guys? How you? Oh, 12. They don't want Jesus. Jesus. How you? Ali, I see you. How you doing? Big shout out to everybody. Oh yeah, shout out to everybody who is joining us on TikTok, on Facebook. You know the drill. Anya ina sound DMB, H-Fan and Chibi. Let me know before we get into all of this. Hi Ali. Big shout out to a couple of people. Today I want to shout out to a couple of people. I want to shout out to Ness. Ness is the guy who is behind the graphics of my thumbnails. We are trying to play a lot with my YouTube because I know I'm out of my depth here. And then a big shout out to Uncle Bob in the UK. Tatina, how are you? You told me Kulavisa. And of course, Asha, my guy who runs my TikTok. He is doing such a tremendous job. Big shout out to Ivan Mutwe on Facebook who runs my Tina family, my Tina Fierce family. Hey, Gwenga, shout out to Nina. How y'all doing? And shout out to all of you who are taking the time out on this beautiful Saturday. It is approximately 12. It's midday here. I bet it's 8 back home, East African time. How you doing? What time is it wherever you're watching from? I'm just happy to see all of you today. I am. It was an off week. Now, you know, I always try to give you a tidbit about what's happening into my life. Before I tell you what's happening in my world, big shout out to everybody watching. I can see you already telling me where you're watching from. Liberia, London, US of A, Africa, everywhere you are. Thank you for taking the time out. Where am I? Later. So I wanted to tell you guys, I love to, you know, in the Sikweka, I try to tell you the honest truth about my life. So, you know how we take so many things for granted when you are back home? And when I say back home, I mean Uganda, motherland. Stepmother. So I used to take so many things for granted. You know, the fact that you want to go get your nails done, you can just wake up on a whim, walk into a salon and get your nails done. Or you want to get your hair changed. Sister, sister. Ofuka wa Uganda. So here's another one. I first got the culture shock with the hair situation. So I went semi-permanent dreads. As you can see, I ain't changing this. Before that, we were rocking the wigs, right? Now, couple of days back, I decided, I've never done it myself. I always go to the salon and there's that chick who does your brows and your chenye, and you know, she gives you that whole, it is something we do back home. Chabuli job kwano. Antula mira yange ngamba ngenda kwemwe chenye. Yo, I messed up my forehead. You don't want to see this mess, but I don't know. I give myself lines dear. Mama. Na you know nye chenye change. Nange neti simanyi kati ango je chirimu na ikambala goma hizo siswala. This is how I messed up my forehead. But dear, I've never taken certain things for granted. I said in the mirror, I was so eager to try and do it. I'm like, how hard can it be? How hard can it be? All I know is you just have to follow your hairline. I'm like, let's do this. I get me those nice razor blades. Oh, and the razor blades are really sharp right here. So I get them and I first go drip. I'm like, not so bad. My dear, by the time I finished, this side was on the east coast and this one was on the west coast. I'm like, it is for now wearing my hair like this. I looked at myself and I'm like, yeah, there are things I shouldn't be taking for granted. I miss home. But dear, I miss home. Me, I'll keep telling you the honest truth. Another thing that shocked me, so I don't know if there are any people in here who love okulie chigere. Yeah, I love chigere. Like cow hoops, they're a thing. They're a real thing. I love them. I like how it tastes. I like how healthy it is. So back home, I had this tradition. My kids know too. Like in my house, chigere tuchiria like almost every Friday. You guys have seen me talk about it on Twitter. I do love me some cow hoops. I love the stew. I love the broth. I love everything that goes with it. Nange. Ngantani kokono nye chigere America. Dear. Nganzunga no nyechigera America. They pointed me. Of course, when you want certain things, there are certain stores here that you know are definitely going to have them. You either go to an Asian store or you go to a Mexican store. So they point me to an Asian store. I get there and I'm like, hey, I want, cow hooves, chigere, that one. Yes, sent you. They're like, right there. I show up. I go there and I see them, right? I see them chigere, but they didn't look like chigere. They were just wano. First of all, chigere nga bachijeko skinny yonna. Bachijako omubiri gwonna. I'm like, okay, this is a first because usually the skin is what makes the broth even tastier. I'm like, it don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. I'ma do this. So you know how the chigere back home. Obenteze wafezaba chizuzi chigero chifumba ne chije Kampala. Hey, nze change chifumbira mu pressure cooker no chija mchondanga chikoze bwe chiti. I'm like, katiwane. I don't know how hard it will be to cook it here. So I get me a slow cooker, right? I have a crock pot. Put that ish in the crock pot. I set it for 8 hours. Firm. Because in my head, I'm like, this ish is usually rough. So if I set it at 8 hours, by the time I'm done with it, it's finna come out and go marembe, right? Hey. Put it in. It didn't even go 10 minutes. Firm. Not even 10 minutes. So 10 minutes, I'm going to throw in all my, you know how we cook it back home? I'm going to throw in my onions, my tomatoes, all my spices so that it can all boil together. Mark you, 10 minutes in, it is already boiling. So by the time I pour in my ingredients, I'm just trying to stir it in. I noticed that you get a chodanga, she says, I noticed that you get a nachidi samanyo. Narinchu utanga super just like. I like to tell you this is because man, stories of my life, story of my life. But that aside, I messed up my hairline. My dear, right now I'm not doing buji. Well, everything is here. That's one thing, apart from senene, but everything else you need right here. I eat yams, I eat matoke, I eat rice, I eat posho. On a daily, I'm married to a Kenyan. So I eat almost all the same stuff that I eat back at home, but the only annoying difference is the difference in taste. You dig? Like everything tastes so synthetic. I don't know if that's even the word I'm going for, but everything just it just tastes so synthetic. Like the meat here, I love me some meat, right? I love me some meat, but every time I'm cooking the meat here, I'm like, it ain't gonna taste like the one back home. It don't. It's like, antibiotics because it doesn't taste the same. The chicken, oh my Lord. Ugh. When I want to eat chicken, I go to an Asian stores because the Asian stores have that hard chicken, like the chicken from back home that you boil for like about 2-3 hours. Yeah, that one. It's what I go for. So now I just go to the Asian stores whenever I want something almost authentic. I go to an Asian store. When I want fish, because I'm a fish head. Fam, I moved to Entebbe simply because of fish. I am a fish head. So now the only place I can get fish is I have to go to the Asian stores. And when you go to the Asian stores, even the tilapia here, I'll be eating it, but it just it's not that Lake Victoria tilapia. I don't get it. I don't. But hey, that is besides the point. I was just giving you a tidbit about my life out here. It ain't easy. It ain't easy, but we get by. We get by. We definitely get by. So for all of you, abali mawanga ngatoli waka, I feel your pain. I feel your pain. I've been missing sudden weird things. Man, kati naku zino nagenda nensirwala nze njaba kulira story nyingi. Ngenda mu store. I wanted to eat I wanted to eat mushrooms because I love me mushrooms. I love mushrooms. So I go to the store and I see these frozen mushrooms, right? I get me some frozen, they were frozen and they look like shiitake mushrooms. Let's get to them. I don't even know what I was eating, but they did not taste like mushrooms. Bananga sobola kundetera kubutika obuganda. Hala. Naku zino n'ebinyebwa mbi. Mwete mumanyi nakumanya. How I love binyebwa. My love for binyebwa has me out here buying peanuts. Yeah, they call them peanuts here. They don't call them groundnuts. They got me buying peanuts and and blending them into a paste in order for me to make sauce. Yay! Salmon is good. Yeah, Fauzi, you're telling me to try salmon. I love salmon. I actually eat different types of fish because I do love me some seafood. So I do try to eat as much as I can, but you just want, you know, in Texas, yeah, Texas pretty much has authentic stuff. They do. But I'm just giving you a bit of what's happening in my life. The culture shocks are real, but you get by. Mpola. You do. I'm fitting right in. Enough about me. Let's get into what's been happening. What state am I in? I'm in Minnesota, darling. I am in Minnesota. Yeah, no, it's gonna get cold in a few. What does that even mean? I've been singing the song. What does Omubandan mean? Someone hit me up in the comments. How about fene? There is a lot of fene here, by the way. It just doesn't taste the same like the one back home, but it's still good fene. I usually get it from the Asian stores. Anything you want, you go to an Oriental store because they have pretty much anything we want. It's cold in Berlin. Man, sorry for you. It's going to get cold here too. Buliali mawanga. I understand you. I do. I'm going to the comment section. Oh, it means I'm a gangster. Oh, yeah. You know I'm G for real. I'm G like that. I am. Yo, don't tell me I look good. Is changing natural? No, yeah. Oh, yam and plantain. I do eat a lot of yam and plantain. I love that too. I do. But enough about that. Let's get back into what we usually do on this fine Saturday. What's been happening in the Mazaland? Chimazaland chibai sabatia. How you doing? Economy about we hit a double-digit inflation, and none of y'all are even talking about it. But hey, I just wanted to remind you we are there. I'm growing older. But you people also amaze me. So you expected me to grow younger? I don't understand the science of when someone comes online and thinks, and you think you're going to insult me when you tell me I'm growing older. Hello? That is dust off my shoulder. I'm like, yes, girl, get it. The goal is not to stay young. The goal is to grow wiser and older. So that is not, you know, that is actually not... It's nothing that bothers me. I love the fact that I'm aging. You don't like the fact that you're aging? You want to stay young forever? Do you know how dumb it would sound for you to stay young forever? Boy, bye. Grow up. I am growing older. I'm a mama of 3. My eldest is 13, yo. 13. I got to tap myself on the shoulder because 13? And I still look this good. You can tell me nothing. I am growing older. I am aging like a fine wine, so you can't tell me nothing. To all of you out there who feel like you're growing older and it's scaring you, embrace that shit. Embrace it. Your better days are actually with age, not with your younger age. They're with the age that comes with it. You make smarter decisions, you're wiser, you've seen better, you know, and there's a way everything feels better when you're older. Can we talk about that sex life? Ooh, sex when you're older. That shit is fire. It's beautiful. Your body is in that. Ugh, you can't tell me to stay younger. Nah, I was a dummy when I was young, but now, ooh, child, everything is so beautiful. Like you take it all in, you know. When you sleep, you really sleep because you need that sleep. You don't have that urge, the dare urge to want to stay awake for what? To do what? Life is repetitive, but with age, oh, comes beautiful things. Yo, just try this ish. Sex is much better when you're older. Relationships are much better when you're older because you're all mature and understanding. You get what it is that you want out of life. You are much better when you're older because you learn with everything that comes along the years. So age is a beautiful thing. You can't even tell me it's bad for me to be old. I'm not the type of girl who is going to say, uh-oh, I am 20 this. No, but dear, I am well into my 30s. And I'm enjoying that ish. Ooh, child, 35, 36, holla. I'm well into that. Love it. You know? Okay. Well, now that we got that cleared, I think today my petty came to play. But hey, so this week in the motherland, what's been going on? Tell me. John Cliff, I see you right there. Yeah, there's people who are agreeing. Sex when you're older is way, way better. Your youngins who are just having sex right now, I was one of y'all. You just have it for the sake of having it. Doesn't hit too much, but when you're older, ooh, your body knows how to do that give and take, baby. Don't tell me fool saying to just so this week, I would like to start off by saying I don't know if someone can tag Netflix, but please, someone tag Netflix and tell them we need a movie done about my country. On God, I think it's about time we can petition it. I bet you they have some good writers up in there. Tusobolo kufuna ka classic hit ku Netflix. I swear my country is movie worthy. Everything that happens in my country is movie worthy. You can't even tell me nothing. What are you saying? Have you seen the madness in the country? I was going through some ish the other day, right? And I saw a story. So you people know the parish model thingy. So in Bukavu district, officials stole 78 million, right? Was it 78? Yeah, 78 million for the parish development model that was handed out. They stole it, right? And when they came to check on it, so when the parish model guys came in, because they sent out this money, you remember that they sent out the parish model development money to all these different districts so that they can help with, you know, startups. So when the district heard that the people from the parish model thingy are coming to find out how the money went, these ninjas had stolen 78 million, and when they heard that the parish model guys were coming to the district, guess what they did? They ran into the bushes and hopped into the Kenya border. So you can't know where they are. So the district guys are like, these ninjas really took this money and they're going to run away like that. They did. They did. 78 million. I'm like, wow. Imagine that as a Netflix, as a scene in a Netflix series. Because I don't think a movie will do us justice. No, we need like, you know, one of those series that has 3 seasons, but they are fire, like boom, boom, boom. As I was still taking that in, right? In Kaliro district, officers fled with 300 million. That's in Kaliro district, yes. So officials fled with 300 million meant for the M-Yoga. Now you remember we talked about M-Yoga. M-Yoga was given out at a very strategic time. They gave out this money, I think 2 days to the election. That's when I was like, it's a trap. You know, they're buying your votes, but keep it moving. Keep it moving. So these guys fled with 300 million for M-Yoga. Gone. like that. 300 gone. No, tebaja zinonya, zigenze, that's it. I was like, wow. Excuse me. Yo, like the way money disappears in my country. And what makes it more funny for me is we know how it disappears because they come and tell you, so in this district, these guys, they stole this much. And when they stole it, they took it. And then this is how they go, sweet, that's again say. Economy, hey, Kwe, Netflix needs to give us a minute as we're still trying to take that in. You know, these are all scenes. Just picture them, people. Picture these scenes as we're still taking that in. The Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Health is mad at donors who are not giving them cash, money. Excuse me. They are mad that the donors, instead of giving them cash, guess what they are giving them? They're giving them things like PPE, things like medical kits. They are mad. They wanted money for the Ebola situation. MOH is mad. They're mad. They're like, how can you dare give us PPE when we need cash? Twagala sente bizimbe tulina binje Nigeria byo apartment zitususeko. They were mad. I'm like, wow. We're going to delve into that one, by the way. We're going to delve into the Ebola situation because it's just... So you can't tell me that we don't deserve a movie? We do. We deserve a series. We need like a prequel. We could actually win us some few nominations here and there, you know? We could. It's a possibility. Wait, chiri Uganda mama nyabo. Chitokota sichibike. Or like they say, man, that saying is going to stay with me. Uganda yaja malirivu nga katogo. Kasirira bwe katokota. Hey! Oh my God. It's so weird though. It's so weird. But let's keep it moving. Again, after we move away from the Netflix, but keep the Netflix as we do this episode, I just want you to keep everything we're talking about, make it a movie scene. Just make it a movie scene. Like in your favorite, you know, in your favorite series. And just tell me that we don't deserve one. Yeah, just tell us. So, I want to talk about the repatriation of our people from the UAE. Now, last Saturday, I remember I came here, Bobby Wine was watching, I remember, and I was like, oh, well, you know, Noop is spearheading and, you know, they're doing all of this stuff to bring back our people, most especially the people who are in the UAE, back home because they were stranded there and they needed repatriation, and our government had not really said much ado about it. They were not getting to the beans and the meat and the potatoes of all of it. They were not. A documentary won't do us justice. People don't like watching documentaries. Make it a series. Add in some salt and sugar. You spice it up, right? So, as Noop was collecting all this money and stuff was going so well, because I was seeing the campaigns. I was seeing all the campaigns on social media, and you know, this one had given in this, that one had given in. But and they had actually brought back a couple of girls, because I saw the photos with Bobby and Babi at their home, and they had all these girls that they had repatriated back, and it was such a beautiful scene, no? It was good. It was good. It honestly was. And then, this is where it became a film. Eya Masasi, John Rambo. Before we know it, the government, according to what I read, they go like, I hear, abana beba komeza babatadde mu drone ne babatwala. I'm like, wait, what? Okay. I don't understand that, but keep it moving. Next thing I know, government is saying that Noop has not actually repatriated anyone. I'm like, wait, so what did we see? Who are the people that... Next thing we know, government is saying they are also going to repatriate people back. I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. I mean, you waited for your biggest opposition members to actually do something, then you can also hop onto this whole nonsense. But the timeline of all this crazy is what's confusing me. So who did what when they did it? Because again, Some scenario is stating that the Saudi governance and the government or whoever is in charge had actually given these people free tickets. I'm like, wait, they can't have free tickets and they're stuck there. That doesn't make sense. And then the government in UG is saying Noop has not done anything and they're the ones repatriating people. I'm like, no, yeah. Huh? What is going in front? Exactly. Who is doing? You see, at the end of the day, it's not even about who is doing, because I think I'm falling for the wrong one. It doesn't matter who is doing what. Is it being done? Because for me, what shocks me is my government. I keep saying this. We are a reactionary people, and also our government has gotten used to us being reactionary, so they do things in a reactionary manner. Because before Noop came out, and they're like, government was shut. They were silent. Nobody was saying nothing. But then all of a sudden, they come up with a whole bunch of hogwash, running helter-skelter and saying this and that and this and that. I'm like, Nayemwe. Government here very confused. Like, for a government and a president that has almost over 130 presidential advisors, and nobody can see into this bullshit before it plays out. Like, nobody can critically sit down and go like, ooh, if you give these new people a gap like so, they're going to bring back these girls and it's going to make you look bad. So rush, do it. No, they stupidly all wait. And then opposition does something good so that they can go on the different TV channels and say, opposition is not doing anything. We were already doing it. I'm like, what? We got a bunch of bozos in places of power. We have a bunch of lunatics in places of power. We have a bunch of sleeping old geezers in places of power, because God damn, that's just... So that's going on. I'm still trying to get to the bottom of it, but I'm glad that regardless of who did what, when they did it, and who, pushed whose timeline for it to be done, I'm glad that at least the people who need the help are getting it. That's if they're getting it. So how many has government repatriated back? Someone hit me up with the numbers. I just want to know. I want to know. And now that Noop had collected a whole lot of money, the last time I checked, they had about 34 million and they were ready to repatriate a couple of people. Are they going to be allowed to actually send this money in order to repatriate these people, or they're not allowed to? Or is it an individual situation where Noop can decide we're going to send our people money and you can't tell us nothing? Which one is it? Which one? Because ntula onengama neba naye government yafenza singa nali mu government singa walayi buli lunaku nyomba n'omuntu singa buli lunaku nyomba n'omuntu oba nfa n'omuntu at some point nandi chikoze, because the level of mediocrity that we have normalized in our governance and in the system of government we are in, it humbles. It humbles. We are so used to mediocrity as a country, as a people, as a society, that even when they do the bare minimum, we're like, yes, the bare minimum is being reached, please. Wow. It's so funny. It is so funny to me. But anyway, that's besides the point. Everybody who is watching on Facebook, don't forget, send those stars. If you are on TikTok, you know what to do. Send them gifts or whatever it is that you give. And if you are on YouTube, I have super thanks and super chats. Let's do all of that. If we want to do it, don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button in case you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel. Moving forward, to Jakudayo. So, Ebola is back in the country. Yeah, it is. It is. So the story started small. Before we knew it, the story grew big, big. Next thing, first few months forward, I think it's not months, even weeks, they're putting Mubende and Kasada down lockdown, right? Now, rumor starts on social media yaba actually. Umanyi nze njiyita social media yaba actually. Twitter yaba actually new. Now that Elon Musk has bought it, I think I'm going to be exiting that app for a minute, because yesterday alone, as soon as Elon came in and is like, yeah, I'm here, let that sink in. Oh, Lord of mercy. The crazies came out to play. I have not seen the nigger word in so long a time like the way I saw it on the timeline yesterday. Oh Lord, the crazies came out to play. All the extremists were like, yes, COVID vaccines were a fake. All of the conspiracy theorists are back. It just it's hellfire on Twitter right now. I don't think I wanna. I mean, it's kind of good that now we can say what the hell we want to say when we want to say it, but then again, that lawlessness is scaring me. Anyway, app yaba actually, a hashtag started to trend. They started saying that we're going to go into a lockdown because as we speak, they have actually traced Ebola cases now to Kampala. And you know, once it gets to Kampala, it is pretty much going to go everywhere, because Kampala is it's the center for pretty much everything. So conversation starts going on. They're like, we need a lockdown in order to hold this back. We need this, we need that, we need a lockdown. Lockdown nefuka lockdown. Ka hashtag and ka trending and biokusaga. But I was sitting there and I'm like, but guys, haven't we learned anything from the previous pandemic? Haven't we learned what lockdowns do to societies and economies? Haven't we taken, like, it was 2 years of crazy madness where every government ran very fast and put all their citizens under lockdown, which was very unconstitutional in any way, if you ask me. It was wrong, but it needed to be done. And I was like, yeah, it was done. Somehow, I don't know if it contributed, but the studies show it really didn't contribute much. But I think it did, who knows, you know. The science of it does not science for me most of the times, but that's not my place to speak about. But I'm just wondering, right? After 2 years of us dealing with the novel virus that nobody has ever dealt with, it was something new. That's why it was called the novel virus. After us trying everything, we had isolation centers, we had lockdowns, we had so many situations in place as nations. And to this day in Africa, they still believe that the best way to contain anything, right? To contain anything is now the lockdown situation. Why do we rush to the lockdown situation? Are you noticing we have hit a global recession and nobody wants to actually acknowledge the fact that this recession did not just happen out of nowhere? No, it was those 2 years of COVID. You know, it's a ripple effect. But we're not going to deal into that because we don't have time for that. We cannot begin getting into the economics of, you know, everything that happens. Let's not even add on to what's happening in Russia and Ukraine. There's a lot going on. But my question is for Africa. 2 years of us dealing with a global pandemic, us going into lockdown, and we have seen that lockdowns actually affected us more negatively than they did positively, right? And still in Africa, Uganda to be particular, there are doctors calling for another lockdown. Kambuzenga Fala, is this our first case of Ebola? Last time I checked, we have dealt with Ebola one too many times, haven't we? We have dealt with Ebola before. It's not new. It is not new at all. It is not like it is the first time it's happening. How have we been dealing with Ebola back in the day? How have we been dealing with these things? But here's what even shocked me the most. 2 years out of a global pandemic that required most countries to have up to par isolation centers, that required the medical systems to be changed a little bit, that required the Ministry of Health to make sure that when we have these centers, they are fully equipped with whatever is needed in those centers. Monies were collected, donor funds were given, a lot was put into the past global pandemic, and you can't tell me all of that is done by now. You can't tell me that. Fast forward now, and we're asking why we don't have isolation centers in the country. The only isolation center that I am seeing that is almost close to anything in UG is the one in Entebbe. I know there could be others, but they're not really isolation centers. They're pretty much just tents where people are going to meet their death. Nothing is being put in place. I'm wondering, what what happened to the centers that were built during COVID? The money was definitely given. What happened to it? When I look at MOH now trying to act like, oh my goodness, war is us, we don't know what to do, how can we deal with it? A lot is going on. I am asking myself, it's just been days, boo-boo. It's not even been eons. It's just been a couple of, 365 days times 2, right? Where are all these things? How come right now we were dealing with the novel virus that actually needed us to have PPE, masks, everything? Like, you needed to be on point in the hospital. We acknowledge that we lost a lot of people. You remember that second wave? Man, that second wave had us in fear because we lost a lot of people because there was no oxygen, there was no this, there was no that. I remember the UPDF even came out and it was like, we are going to supply oxygen, we're going to do this. I know a couple of people who lost their people to just that negligence from the government, right? So now, just 365 days times 2 from that madness, and we now have Ebola, and you're acting like, someone get Minister Aceng bamukube MP bakagalamize bakamanyuleko ekyo kikiwivu kyekambala ku mutwe kuba kano kamanyiro. Doctors, at the start of this Ebola thing, I thought it was going to be small. Then the doctors start dying. Doctors are still complaining that they have not yet been paid for their COVID overtime that they worked. Doctors are still complaining that they do not have protective wear, PPE. They are complaining about the basics 2 years after a pandemic like COVID. Ebintu babisawa. Muchokera president wali ayimirirawo natugamba, you see, I directed that they build these centers, but of course someone did not. I'm like, Ebechijega, you directed. This is what happens when you don't have systems in place that rely on themselves, that everything in the country has to go through one person. If you want to take a dump in my country, you have to first call the president. Like, hello? Yeah, I was asking, can I take a dump today? That is what happens when every system has to go through one person. He sat there and he told us, I directed them to build these isolation centers, but I guess, you guess what? You guess, and at times, this is not me being a player hater, but I want you to take the time out. I know most people don't like to take the time out and listen to our politicians when they are talking, but I am challenging you, dear Uganda. Take time out and listen to half the ish that your president spews out when he is having speeches on anything. I've been watching his speeches and I'm like, does he hear himself? Does he know what the hell he's talking about? He is so removed from it all that he just speaks for the sake of let's speak. I'll be sitting there, I'm like, no. 40 years in power. 40 fucking years in power, excuse my French. And we still don't even have the basics of how to run around when it comes to crises we have dealt with. This is not the first time we're dealing with Ebola, badia. Ebola tujimanyi, ubadanga bajitutisa. It was always Ebola and cholera. Y'all remember that? Two things that we were terrified of. Then of course came in some little Marburg. Squash that real quick. There was Marburg. Then there was the swine flu. Squash that real quick. But growing up, we knew the sure way to die was 2. Ebola, cholera. So how are you going to explain to me now, all of a sudden, 2 years after a global pandemic, that the Ministry of Health is confused with what to do and how to do it, and they're still asking for funds from here and there and here and there? Because we came out of COVID, let me just put it plain blank. Because we just came out of COVID, I expect us to have enough isolation centers all over the country. I expect doctors to have enough PPE and to have everything that they need. I expect them to be paid because they understand that being at the front line is no joke. People lose their lives. I expect these things because it is common knowledge. So I am confused. I bet you are too. I am confused why they are immediately running to one fact. Oh my God, let us go under a lockdown. And then what? And then what? Like the only remedy that they have is a lockdown. The only remedy is a lockdown. And then the Twitter actuaries come out, they're like, yes, we need it. Let me tell you, put yourself under a lockdown if you feel it is unsafe for you. Because we know how these lockdowns affect economies. People are barely getting up from these economies. They are still trying to grapple with the fact that 2 years ago, many losses were made, and people just trying to circumvent all these corners that they passed through in order to just, don't forgetting we have hit double-digit inflation. And you're telling us another lockdown? You'll be fools if you say yes to that. Man. Hey! Every time I keep thinking my government will shock me and do something right. I am hopeful, by the way. Let me tell you something about me. I am hopeful and then some. I keep thinking that at some point they're going to do something right and it's going to shock us. The fact that it will be done right, we will have no option but to talk about it. Waiting. Seems like I'm going to be taking a very long wait card at this point. Hey, man. So the Ebola situation is there. Rumor has it that they may put the whole of Kampala under lockdown. I don't know how y'all feel about that. Hit me up in the comment section. Hit me up in the comment section and tell me, how do you feel with going into a lockdown? Keep in mind that Ebola has been happening in our country for quite so many times, and never once had they put us in a lockdown. But we made do with it. We lost a couple of people here and there, just like every disease that happens. But man, don't y'all get worried? And I know, yeah, we've been making memes about it. We're like, why do I know kuzimba apartment zegwe? Why do I know kumaliriza hotel? Why do I know kumaliriza nyumba yeri muntowazi? I'm like, okay. Okay. We sees you. Keep taking this nonsense in. I was reading, I think it was Raymond Mujuni. He tweeted something that made sense to me. I don't know if it was him or it was Simon Kagwanjala. I'm like confused because I was reading the timeline at the same time. And one of the two said, Uganda is a ticking time bomb. At one moment, something is going to ignite that flame and there will be a no holds barred on everything. Everything will just go like boom. It's going to explode. It's going to explode. I think it's been imploding for a minute, but it seems the implosion is not working to our benefit. So it's going to just boom. Because it's just hilarious. And now I'm loving it. I'm loving it that everyone is finally seeing how weird everything happens in the country. Omuntu wa wansi, wa wagulu no makati atandiso chifiringamu. Chigenda chibanyenya. Mpola mpola. Hey. Chitokota sichi sabike. But Ebola is happening. Rumor has it they're going to put you all in another lockdown. Because the first lockdown did not treat me well. Oh, I got anxiety. You know what it means to be locked up? This is why I hated the lockdown, and this is why most of you have not noticed it. I was reading another expose, and they were talking about how mental health cases, especially in Uganda, have gone up by crazy percentages after the past 2 years. Like the numbers have skyrocketed. Like if you had almost 20 patients back in the day who would be admitted in a year or in a month, now it's coming up to numbers of about 200 patients every 1 month in mental health hospitals and institutions. Biggest percentage being men and women who are between the ages of 18 and 45. So there were repercussions of that past pandemic. And most of us don't know how to deal with our mental health. And it's a conversation that we need to have. But these are conversations that nobody is having. Now you want to go again and impose another lockdown on people who are already that traumatized. Let me tell you, lockdown traumatized me. Whoa, fam. I had anxiety attacks. Now most of you may think I'm not the type who gets, I have very bad panic attacks naturally. I don't know where I got them from. It is something I'm trying to visit. It is something I'm talking about with the therapist. But naturally, I get panic attacks. I don't even know how they come about. I'm not afraid to say it, but I'll just be sitting there and then boom, I just get a panic attack. So when I went into lockdown, it was all of this madness. You turn on your phone and all you see is RIP, RIP, RIP. And then you have kids in the house and you're like, oh my goodness, what if, what if, what if? And then you have families spewed all over the country. You're like, oh my goodness, what if, what if, what if? It was so crazy. It was so crazy. Now, I'm imagining people who are dealing with the mental trauma that came with that, who don't even know how to significantly put a name to it. And you want to get the same people and put them back in that traumatic experience? My youth. Yo. You know me, I keep it honest with you. Most people will not even talk about these things, but I got crazy anxiety when we went into a lockdown. I would get panic attacks that would just have me out of my... I was delirious. I was losing my marbles. And it had to do with everything that's just surrounding the situation. You don't even know where it's coming from, but it is... Actually, y'all come on social media and act like you're Superman and Superwoman. No, me, I keep it 100. I keep it 100. I suffer from crazy anxiety. I suffer from crazy anxiety. And one of the reasons why I think I stayed a smoker for a very long time. Yeah, y'all know I quit smoking 2 years ago. But one of the reasons why it took me a long time to quit smoking was because when I would have an anxiety attack, I would bury myself in a cigarette. I would light up a cigarette and it would just help me take my mind off things. So I used to use it as a coping mechanism for my anxiety. So I kept doing that over and over again. Then the global pandemic hit and I was like, shit, I need to quit smoking. You know, my lungs cannot take this madness. I got babies. They expect me to get through with all of this. So I quit the smoking, fam. I took away my coping mechanism and then I was laid bare for everything that was supposed to come my way. And I went cold turkey. I quit smoking cold turkey. I didn't say, let me reduce to 1 cigarette a day. No, I was pretty much like a pack a day type of girl. Those who know me closely know me and the cigarette inseparable. Anywhere I would go, I'll be with the cigarette. Only reason I hated flying is because I knew I would have to be in a tin can for a long time without a cigarette. And the first thing I'd do when I'd get off any plane before I do anything, soon as I check out like this, is to start up and light a cigarette. I'm like, ooh, USA. You know, addiction is real. I smoked for pretty much, 15 years of my life? Me, I keep it 100. So when I kicked smoking and then the global pandemic hit in and now I have no coping mechanism, all the anxiety, all the panic attacks that came with it came at me full swing with no mercy. With no mercy. Yo, and I went cold turkey on it. So you can't tell me, after knowing what I went through in a lockdown and with all those situations, you can't tell me that there are people who are not affected the way that I was affected. Fam, mental illness is real. It is real. Nelson Bahati is telling me you never left just 6. Yeah, he used to work with me at Urban. I had this place in New Vision where I used to just go and smoke. Like, it was my getaway place. I ain't afraid to say that. I'm not even embarrassed by it. Musaga. So, you're telling us you're going to put people back in a lockdown. Basibategera at all. But something is happening in that country, and you gotta start up. You gotta start by saying no to certain things. If you feel a lockdown is needed, you give yourself a lockdown. Stay in your house individually. Be responsible for you. Before you begin shouting, lock us down, are you a chicken? Oli nkoko mbu balina okugulirawo akayumba oyingire. Toli nkoko. If you feel you need a lockdown, lock yourself down. Stay in your house. Let the brave go out and brave it however they seem fit. I'm telling you, the mental situation in our country needs to really be visited. It really, really needs to be visited. Take time out and go read. Go read about the stats. I remember when that headline came out and they were like, oh, people, Uganda, most ministers and politicians have mental issues, and we all laughed about it. And they said pretty much the whole country has mental issues. We all laughed about it. We made jokes about it. I've seen some comedians make fun of it. I'm like, this is a disaster waiting to happen. This is a disaster waiting to happen. Lockdowns, oh, they have so many things that come with them. So many things. We lost more people to the lockdown than we did to the pandemic. Do y'all remember that? We lost more people to the lockdown than we did the pandemic itself. I'm like, wow, interesting, yo. Interesting. But the actualities are trending a hashtag lockdown. Ah, yeah, me, I've told you my experience. Your mental health, y'all don't want to talk about mental health. You feel like you're ninjas. Me, I'll tell you, mental health is real. You better pay attention to it, but dear, mental health is real. Pay attention to your mental health. You may try to think you're a ninja, goli kirincha, gwasinga mu bonna, Schwarzenegger ne Rambo nga bagenze mu kaalo ne grenade ssatu ne bakamalawo. Baby boy, baby girl, your mental health, it is something you really, really need to put into consideration. I'm telling you. So that's the situation with Ebola. Tujja tandikira awo. Me. Y'all need to take care of your mental health. And some of the things that the governments do to you affect your mental health directly. Nzembagamba ibintu bino. Like, and I keep emphasizing this. You might say you don't care about politics. You might say you don't care about the governance in your country. You might say all these stupid, down low, ridiculous statements that y'all make. But let me tell you, every decision that is taken by your government affects you mentally, physically, emotionally. They do. I've been looking at how Roe versus Wade is affecting Americans here. Just the right to a divorce, to an abortion, how it is affecting very many here on the law without even thinking about it. You have someone just sitting there and they're like, so wait, if I made a mistake and got preggers, or if I was raped, or if it was incest and I didn't want to have the baby because I just not ready to have a baby, you mean I cannot, and I can be prosecuted for having the baby taken out? Just an abortion. You look at it as something small, but it will affect so many decisions as you go. So whatever decisions your governments take towards governing you, they affect you in some way or the other. You want to agree to it or not, they do affect you physically, mentally, spiritually, you name it. They do. They actually do. But let's move away from that. Someone was telling me to talk about what Baby Pombe is doing, and I'm here to officially tell you, we need to stop giving this man the very much needed attention he wants. He really, 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 really wants attention. He is crying, "Daddy, please see me." And it's intentional. You'll be saying this ninja is drunk. He is not anywhere close to drunk. He is very sober and he's going for what he actually wants, your numbers. Stop giving this ninja a lot of time. Bagenda mubate kako Uganda kambabulire ekituufu kiri nti these guys are not embarrassed. Museveni and his people are not embarrassed. They are not embarrassed to get that boy and make him a president. Sibasiru, what a chibamenya. But seriously, look into it. The fact that his father has been around for 40 years and that they want to give us that fat, insolent being as your next commander-in-chief. Just let it sink in. I know we've been making jokes about it, but let that sink in. Stop giving that ninja time. Stop giving him time because you are doing exactly what he wants you to do. The more you keep going to his comment section, my dear, stop giving that ninja time. I personally, I am done giving him a minute of my time because that's what he wants. He wants talkability. He wants all the bloggers to talk about him. Ninja spent 3 billion. Have you thought about it? Kambawa Magezi. This ninja, the reports came out and they said he paid 3 billion Uganda shillings to have him on the internet for influencers. For influencers. 3 billion Uganda shillings. And you think that's a stupid man who is going on tweeting rants? He's not. He's not. It's intentional. He knows exactly what he's doing and y'all are falling into it, especially as the opposition people who think that by going to his comment section and I hear Tumusabula, I hear we're giving him facts, I hear we're putting him, he doesn't even read those facts. He is so delirious in his mind. He is ruler supreme. So regardless of how many times you go into his comment section and say what you had to say, it don't matter to him. He don't see it. He's oblivious to it. So stop giving him that time. Ignore him. Ignore the life out of him and he will sit back and look for another way to get your attention. But for now, he knows that every Friday, I start tweeting like a bum all through to Monday. And I'll take away all your Saturdays and your Sundays. Right? He ain't stupid. It's intentional. He wants these numbers. They need these numbers to justify if they can rig an election. Sometime when the election is held, they need to justify the numbers. Stop talking about him. Stop giving him time. He sat down with his campaign strategists and they thought, well, the people don't like you. How about you become real Bobo the Clown so that you can have engagement? So yes, they turned him into Bobo the Clown and he's doing just that. You're buying into it. Stop. Do I need to say it again? Stop. Stop commenting, stop retweeting, stop sharing, stop posting. Ignore him. Ignore him. Because it's about to get ugly up in your country. You cannot believe this. You're still crying about the father. What if the son comes in? Mukabya kajanja kati. Mukabya kajanja. Muloza tata we mubi. Temunalaba mwana atafunye attention ya chitawe. Those ones with daddy issues. Stop giving that ninja time. And from now on, I'm going to dead the issue. Let's dead the issue. Let's just dead him. Dead him. Dead the issue and move on. Dead it. Chitegera. Dead the issue and move on. Let him tweet till he can't tweet no more. He has already got what he wanted. He wanted the attention. We gave it to him. Now, take back your power. The only way you can take back your power is by not commenting or saying nothing and just ignoring him. The numbers will dwindle. And then he'll be left with the 3 billion influencers that he paid. But at least it is not on our conscience. We know those are paid and hired guns. There is always a bigger picture. These numbers he is looking for, it's not a joke. All these trips he keeps taking down south to Rwanda, y'all better pay attention. I never known how many people have them national IDs, but I have seen our national IDs with people who I definitely know ain't Ugandan. Pay attention. I don't want to be the, I'm not saying nothing. I'm just saying, come the next election, let's just say the voter numbers are going to be way higher than we anticipated. Where's the lie? Where is the lie? And you know it. All these, oh, my brother, my uncle, my this, my friend, my all of that. They ain't stupid. They're doing something. They are definitely doing something. Whether mwagalo chikkiriza or not, they're doing something. And before you know it, you're going to have a truckload of ghost voters. Your registration, you go to your voters registry, you'll be seeing certain things that you didn't even expect, and you're like, when did these numbers go up this high? Because the highest our registration thingy went was the previous election, because this time the youth were really involved. We took the time out to go and make sure we are registered to vote, because we wanted our voice to be heard loud and proud. But now you wait. They're going to give you a very higher turnout. They're like, but now the voter registration, it surpassed even last year's election. Wow. Or if they don't do that, somehow, somewhere, with how they placed our dear French cat man, Mao, I have a feeling that they're still going to finally find a way to make sure that the constitution is tampered with, so that it's the MPs that vote your president. They already sampled the water with that. I think you need to learn about this government. It samples you, small. Baba sampling yo na thought, nagamba, kwata kana. As soon as you guys run with it, they're like, yeah. Ako kajja kola. Ketuba tugenda na kwako. Kajja tukolera ako. Bakidde, bakakiriza, tebawoganye nnyo. Tugende nako mu maaso. Before you know it, Parliament will have the decision. And you know, when they have the decision, who is the biggest number in Parliament? It's not the opposition. The biggest number in Parliament is the NRM. So, who has more people? Olaba ekintu kino nga bwe bakitambuza. Mukiraba oba temukiraba? Mukyali kumugamba mbu ffe tuwoggana buwoggani, we are opposing just for the sake of opposing, naye mwe mukiraba. Mukiraba oba temukiraba? Kwanze nkiraba. They keep sampling you with what they want to see your reactions. MPs can vote president, they throw it there, you're like, wow, no, then you forget. They're like, echo kijja kukola. Kijja kukola. They're like, ono guy tebamwagala nnyo naye, bwe tumuteeka ku Twitter, ne tumufuula omutumbaavu ku Twitter ng'ayogera just kalebule badde oko bavume, batandike n'okusubscribinga to his thought nga balaba buli Friday bajje nga bagamba omutamiivu waffe wuyaze. In the process, they're turning him into an endearment. Remember when they made Museveni lovable? When they did the whole, you want another rap? Oh, we loved him. We're like, oh, he's cool. He's all right. Mwerabira nnyo badia. Moving forward, because time is not on our side. Time is not on our side. Let's move forward. The Human Rights Commission came out and said something about the Majembere situation. I'm not going to rehearse the Majembere thing. You also what happened, it was at the late Jakana's funeral. He said some bullshit. He was beaten into a pulp. Everybody has something to say. The opposition had something to say. NRM has something to say. But what shooketh me, but still doesn't shake me that much, is the fact that the Human Rights Commission of Uganda came out and put up a statement, and they're like, we don't condone violence, we don't do this, this is wrong, whoever took part should be apprehended, they should look into that, let law enforcement do what it's supposed to do. I'm like, by show of hands, or by show of a like, wherever you're watching from, how many of you think we have a Human Rights Commission? Nobody. By show of likes. Because I was reading that statement and I'm like, oh, wow. Wow. Interesting. Or they stood up. They're like, this is wrong. What happened is wrong. Huh? It should be condemned. It is wrong. How do they beat him up? We're tired of mob justice. We're tired of this. I'm like, okay. As they should. As they should. You know. As they should. They should do that. We also don't condone violence. But I'm wondering, this same Human Rights Commission, where has it been when we have been crying about torture? You remember what they said about that? Where has it been when people have been running hashtags of bring back our people? Where has it been when all the shenanigans that actually happened during the campaign season into the election season happened? How come? How come they were not? It did not warrant nothing. It wasn't anything. There was no human rights there. It was justified. But when one heckler, when one idiot who is supported by the regime comes out and says some nonsense that warrants a beating because people are in mourning and angry, you come out and you're like, oh my goodness, this is wrong. I mean, we've always known they're not we have known it for quite some time now, that they are not an independent body. They are appointed by the president himself. So why do we expect anything out of there? But damn, that was sure dumb of them. They should have just went silent. They should have not said nothing. They should have just went silent and kept on with their charade of just not being non-existent because Berabisiza too much. I read that statement and I'm like, wow. It's the sheer audacity for me. The people, institutions in our country will come out and show how partisan they are openly, and nobody will have a problem with it because we're like, as they should. Now, of course, people are going to be like, so T, are you saying what happened to Majembere was right? To be honest, I have looked at how the whole story started and how it went, and I'm saying, one, it's not good to beat up somebody. Mob justice is not the way to go. That's so archaic. I think it's wrong. But then again, you do not go to a hornet's nest and throw a stone in it and stand by and expect the hornets not to come for you, or they're gonna sting the life out of you. You do not go to a bee. You do not go find bees chilling and doing their own thing, minding their damn business, and you throw a stone in them and stand there and expect them not to retaliate. For every action is an equal reaction. It's just how society is. Simple laws of physics. It's the truth. This is a goon who we do not know if he works for security or not, but he's in broad daylight, brandishing a gun in the public and saying how he's going to off other people. How come you did not condone that act, but you condoned the act of those that suppressed his stupidity? I'm just trying to make it make sense for me. And when they were taking him away, we all saw that clip of him saying he finna kill a couple. Not just I will off you or use lingua. No, he's like, I will kill. But no, human rights doesn't see that. No, they don't. Because, I mean, did he say anything wrong? Did y'all hear nothing? No, they did not. Oh, but they crossed the line when you try to put him in his due place and show him shut up. Human Rights of Uganda, F you, politely, not even politely, a deep fried komanyoko for you. Because this stupidity is just wow. It's just benevolent. It's just like, ta-da-da. It's like Beethoven is playing a symphony and we're swinging and gliding to it like, yes, we are paid by the state to do whatever the state requires. How come you have not said nothing about all the transgressions against human rights in the country, but on this idiot is where you draw the line. Like, oh, that bugged you a lot. It was not your favorite moment. It didn't sit right with you. Ninja actually told us what he does to people in Nalufenya. Hey, I'm a guy. He was not in any way bothered by the things he said. But what makes it even troubling and confusing for me is the simple sheer fact that they did not condone what he said, but they condoned the people who put him in his place. It's just confusing. It's confusing, but let's move forward. But I think you see what's happening. I think you see what's happening. You do. Someone has asked me in the comment section, but T, it seems like you're only giving us the problems and not the solutions. Excuse me. I've been saying these things for the longest time. You know the solution. You know it. I don't have to tell it to you. You know it. I've sung it and sang it. So now all I can do is give you all the bad situations and let you make an informed decision. Informed decisions. That's what we're going for. That's what we are going for. And I feel like that letter that the Human Rights Commission put out is actually a letter to incite. Yeah, it was inciting. It was really, really inciting because it provoked my inner being. It really did. I was provoked beyond words. Sad if you are. Go weird. Anywho, in another weird twist of events, and I don't even know how how serious this is, or how real it is, or how true it is. But you all saw that letter that circulated with SK Mbuga's name on it, and then the office that it was attached to, allegedly attached to, came out and said, disregard it, it's not right. But then the letter that they put up to disregard it, according to the letter, it says that SK Mbuga and I think his security company offered services to the state to apparently, this is where it gets me, they offered services to the state to apparently hack social media accounts and do some work, cybersecurity for the government in their favor. And according to the letter, they stated that they actually did their job quite well. If you ask me, that they did that job quite well. Now, if you remember during the campaign season and all that time, many Noop supporters, opposition people lost their accounts and all of that. So, anywho, fast forward, they send a letter to the state saying, yo, we were never paid for the services rendered. The state comes out and say, albeit that this letter has gone out, it disregarded. But then in their disregarding of the letter, they actually acknowledge that the letter was a real thing, because they said, whereas the junior officer should have sent the letter through the right channels. That's when I was like, aha. Yeah. They should have what now? I was like, interesting. But they're telling us to disregard the letter. But from the undertones that I got in it, it meant that the letter was real. And so people had these theories. They're like, so you mean this is the guy who was behind all of the madness we've been going through, people who are blocking our social media accounts? These are the people, apparently, SK Mbuga is the guy behind it. We do not know how true it is, but hey, Mbuti not hearsay. Let's keep it moving. It is so fun being in Uganda. Things are unfolding. Things are definitely unfolding all the damn time. But anyway. In that same conversation, my friend Kakwenza I like to call him friend because we do talk, sikwesao, but we do talk. And I even shared it on my Facebook where he came out and he said, if you are a government critic, please get out wegulire simu ya kapesa. Muzimanyi obupesa. Those old phones that have buttons, they're not, they're not smartphones. And usually they can be called, what's it called? Burner phones. So he said if you are a government critic person, you should get one of those because it's hard to get tracked with those ones, right? Soon as he had just posted that up, guess what shooketh me? The UCC is debating with the thought on if they should outlaw burner phones in Uganda. Kapwenza comes out and he says, please, if you don't want to be tracked, if you don't want to be followed, if you don't want to be abducted, get yourself a Kapesa phone because they're not going to track your GPS to it. They're not going to know where exactly you are when you have a burner phone. That's why they're called burner phones. He puts that information out there, boom. Next thing we know, UCC is debating with the fact that should they ban burner phones. I'm like, so let me get this straight. So even my grandmother in the village needs to have a smartphone. Wow. Wow. Just wow. And wait, how many governments have banned burner phones in Africa? Let's just for African sake. Naye dictator waliwo bw'atya nnyo naye alimba. Agenda n'atya nnyo. Agenda n'atya nnyo. Because wow. But anyway, since we're here, that is the message. If you are a critic and you don't want to be picked up and you don't want to be thrown in a drone, funa katochi mkwano. Tetugenda chiddamu mirundi ebiri. Funa katochi. Kuba your smartphones literally work on GPS. Everything, all your apps that you use are tracked. All your apps have GPS on them, so they can tell where you're tweeting at from, where you're Facebooking at from, where you just sent a text from, WhatsApp, you name it. It's easy to track you on a smartphone. Wefunira akatochi mukwano osirike. Naye bannaye, dikitator atya nnyo naye alimba. Nze ngamba atya nnyo. Tuveeyo. Alina amatu wulira. Atagalina kozesa smartphone drone yekukime mukwano. Tofaayo. And if you have a smartphone, you can also turn off your GPS. There's some simple things you can do, buka ku VPN. Waliwo ebintu by'osobola okukola to confuse the enemy bingi. Oh, but moving on. I saw a tweet about a judge who was paid. I think I'll tweet that. I'll post it for you on the socials because the numbers were just crazy. But I'm just like, in Uganda, you cry poverty alone. There are people who are earning in billions after just being, man, it's just weird. It's totally weird for me. But anyway, moving forward, in the spirit of Mwerabiranyo, right? Mwerabiranyo kamba jukizeya akantu ka juzi. What happened to how y'all were having such a big conversation about the Uganda Airlines CEO? What happened? Conversation ya CEO Bamturechi was all over the place. Oh my goodness, it was all over. We had conversations, We were all there bigging up Joel Senyonyi and Kosase. We were like, yeah, how come this, how come that? Different reports came out about the airlines and boom, shakalaka. Silence. Silence. Mwerabiranyo, what happened? What happened? Let us know. What happened? You'll just be funny as hell. Someone is telling me what do I think about Kanye's situation? My thought about Kanye is I'm just waiting for this whole thing to unfold. Truth is, people think he's such a smart guy that he could have actually gotten out of all his contracts the way he did, and it was a smart move for him to do it that way. People have all these things where they're saying, he's right, the whole saying what he said. And others are like, we don't care. I think I am falling in the category of, I personally have a few questions when it comes to Kanye's situation. I see him getting cancelled. I see the cancel culture is only on the part of the corporations and all of that. But us, the black entity, we are not even bothered by it. Yeah, we'll go on social and we'll scream and shout, like, how come he say that? But my question is, why wasn't this cancel process in place when he said things like slavery was a choice? You know, why were there no processes of canceling him when he ran? He's been doing the most weird, ridiculous stuff when it comes to the culture. He only claims his blackness when it suits him better. But then when he wants to make a quick headline or whatever it is that he's doing, he switches up real quick. So I don't know. Whatever Kanye is going for, I'm not well equipped to even speak on him because he is not in my tax bracket per se, but because he has a big following, I mean, this is why things are coming to bite down. But then again, I just tell people, take the time out and read about the Jews. Take the time out and read about, who owns the banking systems in the world and why you never say nothing bad about them, and then you'll get the answer. But for now, though, I could not really care less about what Kanye has to say, because he has said so many weird things about black people so many times that I think Donda is in her grave and she's like, Lord of mercy, my son done lost it. So yeah, I'm not going to be, I won't lose sleep over him losing some money. I can't lose sleep over him being cancelled, but it's so telling that he is only cancelled when he crosses a certain threshold, but he can't be cancelled when he says something about the black community. That goes to tell you so much. He said so many bad things about the black society and who we are as a people, and he never gets cancelled. Yeezys will get sold and all this stuff will keep moving on. He'll keep making money. He actually will get more deals, because every time he had said something bad about black people, Balenciaga jumped on his wagon when he had just said something weird about black people. All these brands, these big brands, were okay with him saying very creepy stuff about the black race. But when he crosses over and throws it back in their face, they're like, oh no, this is so unbecoming. This is wrong. We need to cancel him. We're pulling him down from everything. His music is tanking. He's losing money. It goes to show you so much. And I don't even know why the black community is even happy that it's happening or not happening. It just goes to show you they don't really care about you. You are not the target audience for any of the things that they do. So he can call you every name in the book. He can act however he wants when he's talking about the black race, and there are no repercussions. But then when he's talking about them, that's when the repercussions come out. Read between the lines. What does he say? I don't really care about both parties. I don't care much about Kanye. He do what he have to do. I mean, his kids are half white, for crying out loud. If he feels it's okay for him to put on a t-shirt that says White Lives Matter, to him. And then the other thing that I just don't understand is, if we keep saying there's freedom of speech, I'm confused. What is freedom of speech? It's only freedom of speech when somebody says what you want them to say or what you're comfortable with hearing, or is it freedom of speech in general? That is where, for me, I'm confused. So this whole situation it's very telling of so many things. You come out here and you say that people have the freedom to speak, but they only have the freedom to speak if they're speaking about things that do not directly affect you as an individual. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. What freedom of speech? It goes without saying. We don't have any freedom of speech. We don't. Cancel culture keeps saying, here's what's funny with cancel culture for me. The same people who come out and scream the whole wokeness of there's freedom of speech, we're allowed to say what we want to say, are the same people who will jump onto the cancel culture wagon for someone speaking their mind and thinking what they think. If I have the freedom to speak, I can speak about anything that I want to speak about. That's why it's the freedom of speech. It's so darn confusing. It's so confusing, this internet here. I call it the FBI's internet. this internet place, like I keep telling y'all, it's not a real place. It is not a real place because half of the things that go down on the internet are so contradictory. I was just telling you why I feel like I don't feel safe on Twitter since Elon Musk bought it, because Trump is back on Twitter, people. And so are his crazies. And I've not read the word nigger in a very long time, like the way I have read it online. Not that it affects me. To be honest, you could call me a nigger any day. And I won't be bothered because I did not pick no cotton. Neither did my great ancestors. They stayed back home in Africa. I won't be bothered. I'll be like, okay, that's good for you. Do you feel better? I won't be bothered one bit. But I'm just saying, it's so weird how we want to sit back and go like, oh my goodness, Kanye this, Kanye that, the people that, the white people this, the black people that. It's so very telling. Read between the lines. Just read between the lines. You'll figure it out. Kanye feels like what he's saying is right. And again, if we're using the whole freedom of speech, let the man speak. That's what he feels. That's how he sees it. If he feels slavery was a choice, that's what he sees. Let him run off with it. Go off then. If he feels he wants to say something about the Jews, well, that's how he feels. Again, freedom of speech. Let him speak. And then if you also have something you want to talk about that is in reflection with what he has said, then also you can speak. But why are you canceling someone for having their honest truth? Because the truth is what you regard it as an individual. It is only freedom of speech when you're speaking against. But when you're speaking for, no, it's actually only freedom of speech when you're speaking for. But when you're speaking against, they never consider it freedom of speech. In any situation. In any situation. Go on social media. You have the right to come out and give your opinions and say what you want to say. But then immediately people will jump into your comment section and go like, that's stupid, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. This is wrong, cancel them, cancel culture. Let's do this, we're done with them. I'm like, but we're all entitled to our opinions. We can all coexist with our opinions. If it's not directly bothering you, it's my opinion. That's what I feel. That's what I think. You are entitled to yours too, but no, nay. It don't work like that, does it? Does it? I keep telling you people, the internet is not a real place. It is the most contradictory place. The internet to me is like the Bible. The Bible will work for everybody in their favor. The Bible will work for a murderer. The Bible will work for a saint. The Bible will work for a pedophile. The Bible will work for a beautiful person. It works for everybody. It's like a constitution. The constitution works for and against in equal measure. That's the internet. It's just some contradictory space where people go to play pretend like there's a system in place. No, the system keeps playing each and every one of us. There's no system in place. No, the system is placing us. Let me tell you this. It's just the truth. It's just the honest truth. You keep saying, oh, we have the right, we have the right, we have the right. No, you do not. You do not have the right to say anything against the particular people. I mean, it goes down to when people were telling me, oh, T, you're so pro, the alphabet people. I call them the alphabet people. No love lost. Love them. Have a couple of them. The LGBTQ. I love them. Lovely people. I don't care about what someone has decided to be in their life. That's who they are. I like the individual, not what they do when they go home or in whose room they're in. But my thing is, when we speak on them, it's a violation of their rights. But they can speak on us, and it's not a violation of our rights. So I'm like, that's so contradictory. I thought since it's a basic fundamental human right, it goes both ways. Right? But it's so mind-blowing. I keep telling y'all, the internet is not a real place. It's just a contradictory space where people think there's a system, but no, there's a system in place that is placing us. So I love me some Kanye. I'll still play his old music. I'll still play his classic tunes because he had it when he had it. He's quite a smart guy. He is. Let's give him that. He's a talented freak. Very talented. But can I discern from the talented freak and the individual? Yes. He's entitled to his opinions. I'm entitled to loving the opinions that he gives to me in his music, not in his personal life and what he chooses to say in life. It is what it is. It's just that. And again, this whole life, it's full of contradictions. So just do you. Just do you. At the end of the day, this is what I like to tell people. Do you. Ain't nobody going to tell you how to live this thing called life. Just do you, because at the end of the day, anything you're doing is going to be deemed wrong or right at some point. And on see Abigambo, God created it with a word, and you think words will not fly. Fam, according to the Bible, Lord sat up there and he was like, and let there be. What did he say? Those are words. And let there be. He created the universe on a word. How do you expect not to live with words? Come on now. Come on now. The internet is not a real place. The sooner you'll get it, the better. The better. But let's keep it moving because I have a few minutes left. Who did I want to talk about? Yo, somebody was telling me about this and I know about it. Apparently, the one thing that we need to do in Uganda, someone needs to tag UNBS. Are they UNBS? Uganda National Bureau of Standards. Why do we have so much fake liquor in Uganda? We don't even know what we are drinking anymore. Someone brings you a bottle of Jameson and it looks like the bottle of Jameson. It is signed, sealed and delivered like a bottle of Jameson. But it don't taste like Jameson. And if it does taste like Jameson, it's not the real Jameson. Or Jameson, like the way you guys like to call it. You go out there and buy a bottle of Ciroc in Uganda. Dear. There is so much fake alcohol. Back in the day, I would go on Snapchat and I would see all these kamukenenebane, you know, the party animal scene, and they're coming out with all these liquor bottles and they're like, woohoo, Azure whip. I'm like, fam, I was at the liquor store yesterday. That bottle costs 3.5 million a pop. How are you buying it at 900K? What is the difference here? I don't get it. They got so much fake liquor in Uganda. Mugenda kufa. Mugenda kufa bikansa bimtamanyi. Because the Bureau of Standards is not doing their job. Yeah. There's a time I bought, what's that thing called? There's that, the Hennessy, with the apple. No, apple. Honey. The honey jaded. And then another friend of mine had one he had come with from out here. We compared almost 3 of them. One was from Kenya, the other one was from UG, and another one was from the States. Mukwana. Zengamba. Byali byanjawulo. Mulina omwenge ogutali real. You people are drinking counterfeit alcohol. And I remember watching something on Citizen TV where they were selling Blue Label. Like you would find Blue Label. Johnny Walker Blue Label. Get it packed, signed, sealed, delivered. It's a real thing. When you look at it, it is the real thing. But then they'll tell you this was made from somewhere here. Down the Changa Mama has made it. I'm like, oh, no way. And yet I have to buy each shot at 500K. What? Yo. You guys need to take time out and look at what you're drinking. Mugenda kufaga lwadege mutamanyi badia. Mugenda kufamily omwe. Mugenda party animals. Lero. Me who loves wine. One thing I used to do, and I love myself for that. I would go to a fancy restaurant and I'm like, yeah, because I love wine. I ain't gonna lie. I love wine. So I go to a fancy restaurant. Anybody who has found me at a restaurant, you know what I'm going to be drinking. It will always be wine. And to top the night off, if the night is ending, I will definitely do shots of tequila. So you go to this restaurant, they're charging you crazy amounts per glass. Because you're not buying the bottle, you're like, just keep the glasses coming. So it hit me that every time I'd go to a fancy restaurant and I ask for a good wine, you know what this restaurant is going to do? They're going to buy you the boxes of, what's it called? 4 Cousins? Cheapest shit on the market. And then they're going to sell it to you per glass at crazy amounts. I'm like, fam, if I'm paying you good money to come at your establishment? Why can't you give me good wine? Or better yet, why can't you give me a wine menu and tell me, so for the white dry wines, these are the ones we have and each one falls in this category, financially speaking or taste-wise. But you go to any fancy restaurant and you ask for wine, say I want white dry wine. They're going to give you the cheapest shit on the market. What is wrong with us? What? It bothers me. It does. And now for all you guys who go out for all these hyped up parties where you're like in a group and you're at these bars that fill up, those bars are selling you counterfeit alcohol. You're going to die. One day you'll wake up and you'll just have like 20 people dead. Mbubanywedde kibanywedde blue label. Ngatate mukirowoza nako mbu blue label ye yabase bajagamba ayiro dogo. Baba wadde obutwa. No. You're going to drink shit that's going to kill you. You need to start paying attention. You need to start paying attention to the shit you're drinking. I love me a good wine and I pay attention to the wine. Always. I will always do that. I pay attention to my liquor. I don't play with my liquor. On God. Just like you have to pay attention to everything. If you're one of them people who smokes a J, you know, pay attention to your supplier. He may be giving you something wrapped in wood glue or some shit. Pay attention. I know we are all trying to deal with our habits, but please, if you have a habit, make sure you're doing it the right way, not some shit that's okay, it's eventually going to kill us, but not at the rate we are doing it now. By taking the cheap stuff? No. Pay attention. And someone needs to holler at UNBS and they need to look into it because chitisa badia. But anyway, that's been my week. I hope we had a good time. I had fun with you guys. Same applies to Coca-Cola, Pepsi. You got to restore on fire. Yeah, and I also noticed that when it comes to the sodas, but this is how now even here it happens. I prefer drinking Fanta from a fountain than the Sunkist or something that is bottled, because the fountain drinks taste a lot better than the bottled drinks. Just like back home, have you ever noticed the Coca-Cola in a glass bottle? Totally different from the Coca-Cola in a plastic bottle, and also totally different from the Coca-Cola in the big bottle. Taste varies. The taste really does vary most of the times. Just saying. Pay attention to what's going into your body. I know in Africa we don't like to, but ever since I got into this country, god damn, I be paying attention to everything. Before I buy something, I'm like, what is this? How many calories? Non-GMO, gluten-free. I'm like, god damn, I've turned into one of them. But I have to. I have to, because I have to pay attention to what's going into my body. In a country like this one, fam. Now I don't take nothing for granted. I'll be up in the juice aisle looking for the zero free versus the no sugar. Two different things. Two different things. Zero free and no sugar. Bianjawulo. Nyo baida wenze kamba bulire bianjawulo. I'll be paying attention to everything. I go to the store and I'm just trying to get something small. I'm like, wait, then you have to pull out, read the labels, even down to the medicine. You're reading the labels. Hey, they make you look at so many things. I'm on the news like a hawk in the sky. I'm like, what did they call back? Recently, they called back some products for hair straightening. Child, I was in my bathroom running. I'm like, throw away this nonsense. Cancer be gone. Y'all need, you need to pay attention to what's going into your body. Whoever knew? Whoever knew that I would be counting calories? Hey, I didn't know. I didn't know that I'd ever count calories. I'll just get stuff and shove it in my mouth. I love chocolate. Back home, I would just get me a Cadbury, eat the whole thing and feel happy with myself. Mukwan. Nowadays, I have to first get it. How many calories, expiration date, do you buy products, what is in it? Where? Mwe. Pay attention. Pay attention. Especially in Africa, they dump all their bad product to us. They dump all the dirty products to us when you go to the supermarkets. Pay attention to what you're buying. This shit ain't funny. That's why you see tufa tukunkumukane tugwawo. Ata sifa bataina healthcare nunji. Yes, tukunkumuka tugwawo. Before you buy that box of biscuits, read what's in it. Before you buy that juice or that drink or that, read what's in it. Before you pop a tablet, read composition. What does it do? Google. We have had situations where you go to hospital, they give you medicine, you just take it without even knowing what they're giving it to you for. You don't ask, you just take. Mujakufa. Hey, this country can teach you things, mama. Njiza binji. Binji. But anyway, that's a conversation for another day. How do you count calories? Mukwano. Whenever you get a drink, everything that is sold on the counter, when you go to the back, there's always something written on calories. Usually it's 120, 60. So now, because I have to count calories, I start counting calories from the morning. If I take a glass of juice, that's per serving. How many calories are in a serving? Let's say 10. So then after that, if I have lunch, how many servings of calories are in this particular plate of food that I have? I will count down and I'm like, okay, the chicken said each piece had 60 calories. One potato, I go to Google and I'll Google how many calories are in a potato. And then I'm like, okay, so that plus that plus that, those are 300 calories so far. I want to do only 1,500 a day. Coolio, let's go. That's how you count calories. Someone who's saying, please, Tina, I need to talk to you. I have given you my numbers all the time. 0754 298325 for WhatsApp messages. Don't call me. I won't answer. Do not call me. I won't answer. 0754 298325. If you cannot WhatsApp me, you can always go to my DMs. That's of course my private messages on Facebook. They're open. Private messages on Twitter are open. All my platforms, actually. You can reach out to me on any platform, and I do reach out to most people who actually holla at me. Yes. So anyway, it's been my time. They don't ngankozesa akagambo anyway mirundi mingi nange necho oluzungu lugambye bye bye. But I'll catch you again next Saturday. I hope we do this as usual again next Saturday. And if you have something that you want to holler at me, don't forget, if you are on YouTube, like, subscribe. If you are on my Facebook, please also run to my YouTube. That's Random Thoughts. My handle on YouTube is at Tina Fierce One, because YouTube now introduced handles. So my handle stays the same. If you're looking for me on YouTube, please, because I do have a bigger watching following on Facebook and TikTok. Just get off your TikTok, get off your Facebook, go to my YouTube and hit the subscribe button and like, so that we can keep this going. Pull up, right? But that's only if you want. I ain't forcing nobody. If you want to, that's how we do it. For now, it's been real. Holla at me in case you have anything you want to talk about, or if you just have calories in it. When Sharon ni nzakugarukira mureita really Sharon nakoreba. You didn't address the Naduli saga. To be honest, I don't want to, because I feel like everybody has had their theories. We all know what exactly happened according to our theories. That family is in pain. Us revisiting it is not going to change much. That's why I didn't revisit it. And I won't, because it's just sad. We all see what happened. That photo of his father that trended on Twitter, As a parent, I can't even begin explaining what I felt. That's why I can't talk on it, because that's some top tier pain. And I won't be talking about it. Ooh, Musisi Chizito, thank you. You are watching both on YouTube and TikTok. Thank you. He just sent me some kamane. Thank you very much. Yeah, so yeah, you can always send stars on Facebook. You can go to my YouTube, and you can also do super thanks or super chats, or whatever suits you. But it's been a good day. Thank you for chilling with me. Those who didn't go to the Kabbalah, and you know that the economy does not need you spending like an idiot. Another thing, please, this whole party life, that gets you going out. I know it sounds like I'm old and I'm telling you this. You can have a party at home on a budget and still manage to keep some money for a rainy day. We are going to visit that situation soon. We will. Big shout out to everybody who is watching from wherever you've watched from: London, Dubai, Liberia, Somali, you name it, everywhere that you've been watching for. I know it's not easy. We've been doing this for 1 hour or something. God damn. Someone is asking who has done my makeup. I do my own makeup. 15 years on TV. I definitely have to learn how to do my own makeup. Yeah, and somebody was also asking me recently, they're like, T, what are you doing? Are you trying to bleach? Banange, learn how to read these things. When I say I'm having a chemical peel, it means I am chemically peeling off my dead skin tissue on the top to reveal better skin on the outside, on the inside. That's simple. So, of course, you're going to be brighter in the face, because mukoka uli no muje kakasana gekakuocha. So, because we have a lot of, one thing I learned, why people say when we come here, we become lighter. The sun back home, and we don't wear SPF, none of us ever wear sunscreen. So we're used to the sun hitting us directly. Then when you come here, you're indoors a lot more often. The sun doesn't come out that much. And then you start using all these regimens, and then your skin peels off and you reveal fresh skin that is not damaged by the sun. It definitely will look like someone has bleached, but they haven't. It is you just getting a new layer of skin on the top. Yeah. Big shout out to whoever is watching from Melbourne, Australia. Big shout out to you. Anyway, I gotta go. It's been my time. I'll see you on the flip side, which is next Saturday. Hit me up in case you want to have a conversation. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all those things. Be good. Have a good weekend. Have a beautiful Sunday and a good week ahead. We'll talk. I'm out. Peace. This one's